Hey y'all. Thank you for clicking back on God Bless Tina Marie. I am Tina Marie. If you could give me a quick like and a sub, you guys, I would love it. So, I was listening to a bunch of messages from Sarah Jakes. I've been on the Sarah Jakes kick lately, and for some reason, God took me back to her beginnings when she first started ministering and when she first started speaking, and she was just telling her truth. She was just telling her truth. She was just telling her testimonies, and God told me that, you know, you are overcome by the testimonies of others. And he told me to tell my story on YouTube, and I'm like, no. God, thank God for Sarah Jakes, but I ain't gonna do it. Nobody needs to know my dirt, And I started thinking about certain things. I'm like, oh no, oh no, that is not about to go on the internet. So anyway, after me being hard-headed and I trying to be hard-headed and not. So anyway, I told God, like, okay, so you want me to tell my truths on the internet? What do you want me to tell them? Like, what truth? Because some of the truth, I just ain't gonna do it. Some of my business is my business, and that's my business. I'm just not gonna do it. So anyway, I wrote out like a whole list of different things that chronologically led me to where I am now, to God, to serving, to obeying, to listening, to hearing from Him, to us being like this, me and God. So, okay, so I will start here. I grew up in the church, and just all my life I grew up in the church. My mother was in the church, very active in the church. And when we moved to Maryland, I was in the second grade. The very first time I saw a spirit was in the second grade. We had bunk beds. My brother and I shared a bedroom. We had bunk beds, and I was in the top bunk this night, and I saw my mother, or what looked to be my mother, and she was just standing on the bed looking at me, like at the foot of the bed, and I was at the head of the bed, and just standing there looking at me in the middle of the night, like I had woke up out my sleep, and she's just staring at me. And I'm like, Mom, yes, Ma. And she didn't answer me. And I glanced to the side and looked back. She was gone. And then I realized, like, wait, that wasn't my mother, because my mother she's not that much taller than me. But this figure that looked like my mother was like tall, like taller than the bunk beds, taller, like just tall. Like she was very, very a big, tall person, but she was in the form of my mother. So I'm like, okay. So I just went down to the bottom bunk to sleep next to my brother. And so I think I left, and I think I went in my mother and father room and slept with them. So then my mother and my father separated after that year, and we stayed in Maryland. And it was this following year when spirits literally started attacking me. So it got to the point that I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep at all. I had to have a nightlight on. I still shared a room with my brother, but I had to have a nightlight on in the hallway, because these spirits, these demons would come to my room every single night. So at first, I would just wake up in the middle, out of the blue, just wake up in the middle of the night, and I would see them. And they would stand in the doorway of my bedroom. So our bedroom door's open. We still had the same bunk beds. I'm in the bottom bunk at this point, and because that was now my bed, and the doorway would be open, and there would be two spirits. So the spirits was in the shape of a body, but they didn't have a face. They didn't have nothing. It was just black. Just two black spirits in the form of a body. And they would, although they didn't have a face or nothing, they were looking at me. Like I felt them just staring at me. And so I would just lay there and I would just look at them and they looking at me and I'm looking at them and they looking at me. And then out of nowhere, they would charge at me real fast, just like charge at me real fast. And I would just scream like, ah, really loud. And my mother would come busting in and running in because her room was like just right next to ours. And she would run. And it's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, they were right there. They was trying to get me. The spirits. It was trying to get me. There was somebody there. They was trying to get me. And then she looked around. She's like, nobody's here. And I'm like, no, they was there. So then I would just go sleep in the room with Mom. And this would happen night after night to the point that, she thought I was just having bad dreams. And I'm telling her, no, I was awake. I was not dreaming. I was not asleep. I was awake. So it would happen every single night, and to the point that I couldn't go to sleep at night. And we had a night light on, the lights was on, and they would still come. And at this point, again, I would never go to sleep. I would just be up because I was scared to go to sleep because I knew they was coming. So I would just sit and wait for them to come, and they would sure enough come, and they would just sit and they would just stare at me, just black figures, 2 figures, and they would just sit and stare at me. Not figures in the point that they had arms and legs, but they was like imagine having like a dress, like something over you, like a robe of a judge, like a judge robe on. So it's like that type of thing on them, but it was just all black. Their face, their hair, everything black, and they were just there and then attack. They never made it to me, though. They never made it to me. Every time I screamed, my mother came in the room before they reached me. So before they reached me, my mother would bust in the room because she would come running because I'm screaming to the top of my lungs in the middle of the night. And they would disappear, like poof, before they got to me and when she came in the room. So, I went to a Pentecostal church. So one of the things that we would say every Sunday is, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's a mantra. I don't know. It's a statement of faith. And within that statement of faith, one of the things was the Bible verse, which I don't know the Bible verse on my head, but I know it's like, God has not given me the spirit of fear, but of love and of kindness and of a sound mind. So I would just say that to myself over and over. And my brother had gave me like a little pocket Bible. So I would sleep with the Bible and sleep with it under my pillow and just hold it. And I would just say that prayer to myself over and over. God's not giving me spirit of fear, love and kindness, But that did not stop them demons from coming, because they would still come. So then, I kept talking to my mom about it. And I think after a while, she stopped telling me it was a dream, because I kept telling her, like, I was not asleep. It's not a bad dream. It's not a nightmare. It's real. I never even went to sleep because, mind you, I stopped falling asleep first because I used to wake up and see them. But now I'm just seeing them. I'm not even going to sleep because I'm scared I'm like, one day they're going to reach me. One day they're going to reach me before my mother comes, and what's going to happen, So I was just scared to go to sleep because I didn't want them to be asleep and then they actually reached me. So then I told my mom, and my mom was like, maybe God's trying to show you something, I'm like in 3rd or 4th grade. And I think I was in 3rd grade, but I could have been in 4th grade. And I'm like, no, I don't want to see them. Like, I'm scared. Like, I don't want to see them. I'm scared. And she's like, well, God's not going to show you if you're scared of it. I'm like, but I am scared. So then my mom was like, okay, let's pray. And she prayed over me one night, and I stopped seeing them. They stopped coming. She prayed and went into tongues and all of that stuff and cast it out and and they just stopped coming. And I don't know how long that was happening, but it was a long time that would happen. It was like several weeks. And then after that, I didn't stop seeing spirits. I just stopped seeing those spirits. So after that, my mother and my brother and I, we like switched rooms. And it was only a 2-bedroom apartment, but we just like swapped rooms. And every once in a while, I would still see not every once in a while, actually, it was like almost every single night, I would still see a spirit, but it wasn't that spirit. It was spirits in the human form, and they would just be doing random things in my room. Like one time it was a lady, and she was in the middle of my bedroom, and she was just stacking shoes, like stacking shoe boxes in the middle of my room. And for some reason I wasn't scared of these spirits. I was just scared of those other spirits that was trying to attack me, but I was scared of them, but I wasn't like screaming anymore, you know. I had got used to seeing them. So I used to, like, you know, like little McDonald's toys. I used to have just like a bunch of like little toys lined up. It's kind of like my headboard just had like cupboards in my headboard. So I just have them lined up in my board. And I learned that if I took one of my toys and I threw it at the spirit, it would disappear. So that's what I started doing. You know, I knew they would come. Some would just walk around. Some would just look at me. And I would just throw a toy at them. They would just dissipate. They would just disappear. One that really scared me even more, though, was sometimes my brother would sleep with me because I was scared at night. So one time I woke up and I looked up, and my brother was at our little table or desk or dresser or whatever it was in the corner. And he was like up, like messing with something on a table. And I'm like, Nell, what are you doing? Like, Nell, what are you doing? Like, why are you up? What are you doing? And, you know, he stopped messing with whatever he was messing with on the table. And he turned and he looked at me. And then he looked back at it and kept doing what he was doing. And then I looked next to me, and my brother was right there next to me sleeping. And I turned back and looked real quick at the spirit, and it was gone. And I'm like, yo. But then sooner or later, they stopped coming too, and that was it. But that really secured my faith. I wouldn't say my faith in God, because I already had a faith in God, because mind you, I grew up in the church, so God is all I knew. But my faith in the spirits are real, the spiritual realm are real. There's really demons out here, there's really spirits out here. Why was I seeing them all the time, but they kept coming to me? I don't know. I know during this 21 day of fasting, I prayed to God and asked him, like, is there something that you were trying to tell me or trying to show me? Like, why did I keep seeing so many spirits when I was younger? You know I kept praying to never see them again because I was scared. But if that's part of my ministry, if that's something you want me to do, then give me the faith and the courage to be able to see them more, whatever you want me to do with that. You know, I'm ready. I'm scared, but I'm ready and I'm willing to do it. And God just let me know, it's like, no, those spirits that was charging at you, they were trying to kill you. They was on assignment to kill you. And there was pretty much a battle going on in your room every time, because my angels was not allowing them to get to you and was not letting them kill you. And the prayers of your mom was also saving you, because she was always praying for you and always casting out spirits in her house and praying for you and all of that stuff. And her prayers and her coming through was also saving you. And my angels that sent in the angel realm was just fighting those spirits for you, because they were trying to kill you before you was able to get to your the assignment that I had for your life. The devil didn't want it to ever come to fruition, so he was trying to kill you while you was young. So now I'm crying and scared. I'm like, I wasn't scared. I'm just crying and thanking God, because he just told me this like last week, and thanking God that for his protection. And yeah, so that was my experience with spirits. Moving forward, I never saw them again. Once they just stopped coming, and but I would feel the feeling of what I felt when I saw them every once in a while at night. I would still feel it, like I'm going to see something. And when I'm going to see something, I feel it, I would just cut the TV on, cut on cartoons, or cut on preaching, or cut some lights on and just sleep in the light. And even to this day, I cannot go to sleep without having something right next to me that I could cut a light on. Like, I have to have a light or a light source right by me, whether it be a phone, a lamp, or something right next to me that I could quickly shine light, because I still feel it and I just I need to be able to see. So yes, I'm gonna do another story time about when I saw an angel, like a real angel. And yeah, this is the demons, next is the angels. So come back, and I will be talking to you guys soon in the next couple of days and tell you guys about that. Thank you for clicking onto my channel. Again, a like, subscribe, share, comment, talk to me. Tell me if you ever seen spirits before. What was your experiences or your beliefs, or what may have you. And talk to you guys soon. Bye.